If you can hold two opposing thoughts of a situation at one time and not get disturbed by it and observe it, again, without judgment, that is the sign of intelligence or wisdom. So just reading, analyzing him through the gifts that I have, through the Tune Your Death, Joe, he's a searcher. He wants to find the truth in everything that he does. He really has a really fantastic heart, and I love him for that, But when you're like that, you tend to go on the fray. You tend to the extreme. You're not going to follow, say, the masses, because the masses are usually wrong, and it's been proven time and time again. So people like that go, hey, you know what? Let's try this. Maybe this will help. And sometimes, maybe it doesn't, but at least he tried. And that's what controversy is about. And that's, if you look at any, say, scenario, whether it's at a personal relationship or, at a job type, a career type relationship, or at a political system, controversy is what's made us better. In today's society, it's like, if you're controversial, you should be shut out. It's the cancel culture. You should just listen and be dictated to on how to think, what to think, and so on like that. Well, that's the death of creativity. You can ask any artist, you can ask any philanthropist, you can ask anybody that has, say, transformed society. So why are we against controversy? There's a lot of truth in controversy. Controversy is just basically what Joe's showing up, or what Joe's doing is like, hey, you know what? This method isn't working. There's tons and there's millions of billions of people trying to find a solution. He's just like, hey, let's bring all the facts on the table, throw it on the table, and then see what we've got. So why are you blaming this guy that's just throwing the facts out there, that's, out there anyway, in one, say, single stage? Wouldn't it be a lot more efficient for us to, say, clarify on one single stage, rather than going, you get your information from CNN, somebody gets it from Fox, somebody gets it from there, and they're only listening to, say, one aspect of that. It's like, how intelligent can you be if you can't hold on to, say, varying opinions at the same time and still be sane about it, rather than fighting or attacking somebody? So it just shows you the intelligence of society, literally. And that is like a report card on your intelligence. If you can hold two opposing thoughts of a situation at one time and not get disturbed by it and observe it, again, without judgment, that is the sign of intelligence or wisdom. So again, look at the Neil Youngs, and I love his music. Whoopi Goldberg and all those people that try to shut Joe Rogan down for is like, and he does. And again, Joe Rogan doesn't care. He's going, hey, these are all the facts that we need to look at. If I was a scientist, I'd go, fuck, I'd want to know all the facts, right? And even scientists don't do that. So he's more of a scientist than I would say the scientists are. Literally, because it's like, hey, let's look at all the facts. Maybe all the ways it does work, and maybe all the ways it doesn't work, rather than going, no, let's just shut that off because we don't want to hear it, or it's not profitable for us, or whatever it is, and just go towards, the things that we think we want to be, we want our expectations, to flourish, rather than, say, the truth to flourish. So I have no issue with that. And just one more thing, is that, you said he's got over, 11 million listeners? I mean, look how long CNN has been around. Look how long, all those major media outlets have been around. Why don't they have as many listeners as Joe Rogan? Maybe people are gravitating, and why did he grow so fast? Maybe he's telling, say, something. He's sharing something that people really need to and gravitate to. Again, why is he so successful? You'd have to ask those questions, And why shut him down if he did get so successful? He had a lot of individuals that were for, say, in this case, the vaccines. And then he had a few individuals that were against the vaccines. So he wasn't fighting for or against. He might have his own opinion, but again, he has pulled back. Just like me, I look at both sides. I have my own opinions on certain situations, but I allow people to think, or I teach people how to think rather than what to think. And I think Joe is on that same venue, because he's not a scientist. He's searching. It's like, hey, here's all the facts. Can anybody help me figure all this shit out so we can get out of the mess that we're at? That's the way I see Joe. Again, he sees both sides of the facts.
Is that a good thing that Spotify comes in and says, you know what, we've picked out these 110 episodes that we're not going to make available to people?
No, to me, it's not a good thing at all. Again, because it's, against freedom of speech. But the underlying score is like, why are people not politically correct? And those people that I've found in the past that try or force people to be politically correct, at a personal level and at a mass level, I've found them to be, say, the most disturbing individuals, where they're not politically correct, they're trying to, say, control those individuals to make themselves feel good. But internally, they're very, well, fucked up. I guess that's the best word for it that I can say. Also, you're talking about media and what journalism is. There was a CNN reporter that stated, and this is what bothered me the most. It's like, you know what? We've tried to shut Joe Rogan down. We've done this and this. I don't know what to do with Joe Rogan anymore. It's like, wait a second. You're a journalist. You're supposed to be reporting the news. You're not supposed to be, say, criticizing or shutting down, opposing opinions on CNN. You literally are just supposed to just give the listeners the news and then allow them to, say, think critically. But again, media doesn't do that anymore. It tells you exactly what to think by how they filter what they expose on the news. I would rather get my news from Joe Rogan because, again, he provides you the facts, right? And then you make your own decision. In that statement, we know exactly what the news, which side they're leaning. It's like, why would you want to listen to them? Because they've already made your mind on what you should think. So again, is that really, say, open? Is that, is that a free thinker? Obviously, it's not. So you have to create, your own sense. Right now, nobody knows what to think of about anything anymore. And that's, say, the end of that society. Simple as that. It's happened before. If they knew about exponential intelligence, I think they would literally gravitate towards, being free and being free thinkers and being, thinking critically on their own. Because they want more than what's, again, society, government, religion, politics, and so on are giving. They want to know the truth, the underlying truth on what's going on. The other aspect of Joe Rogan I'd like to cover too is that he's against or for the vaccines, whatever it is, right? The misinformation. And then what you do is you start to slander his character, by bringing up, the colored jokes and so on like that. For somebody like Joe Rogan, he's just saying it because he's a comedian and it gets laughs for him. He's got nothing behind it. But then people use it to go, well, this is a bad person. You shouldn't listen to what he thinks about, the vaccines. Or you shouldn't listen to the guest that he has to, that knows about the vaccines. Either side. Does that make sense? So what does a racial slur has anything to do with this topic here? When you start to blend and when you start to, say, destroy somebody's reputation, again, it shows you, say, the intelligence that you're at. It's a very low level of intelligence. And politicians use it all the time. Lawyers use it all the time. And again, we have to get away from that thinking because if most of the leaders out there, they would not be leaders if you looked into their personal lives. And I can look into anybody's personal life. I don't need to know, So you would be firing everybody that's out there. And nobody, it's because they weren't a good person, you shouldn't listen to them, on, say, military aspects or, business agenda or anything like this because they did X. Well, nobody would be around to be working, by the way, if society really, say, adhered to that, say, concept. But they use it to destroy people all the time. Pretty soon you can't say anything about anything. So it's like, so the offense comes upon those people who are insecure enough to be offended, not the person, offending. Why are people gravitating to Joe Rogan? Are they all so fucked up, or are they all so, conspiracy theorists or anything like that? No, it's just providing something that, the populace wants. They're craving the truth. That's what it's about.